Hi Aishwarya, welcome to this small conversation, chit chat interview. I have a feeling with you that this interview is not going to be that short, right? Because
Yeah.
generally the two of us are in the habit of talking so much with each other that whenever we start talking, even though we might connect after months, we do end up having long conversations.
Yeah. We connect
And
for a short call, which is not actually short.
which is actually not short, right? So in fact, we should let our viewers and listeners know that we are when we started this today, when we got in touch today and we started this process of recording this interview, we've already 50 minutes have passed. We discussed
Yes.
everything in our lives and now we are starting this. So
Yes.
we've actually spoken about all those things. So that's a unique experience in itself. I'll
Yeah.
be honest with my audience here that with every student, this level of connect is not there. Right? But with some students, you form a level of connect where I know about their personal lives, their personal journeys, right? And they know about my personal life and journey as well, right?
Yes.
So you reach a level where it's I think it's more than a student-teacher relationship. Our relationship is still formal; it's not informal, but it is still a relationship between a mentor and a mentee. But it is
Yeah.
still, I think it's gone beyond a teacher-student relationship. That is definitely
Yes.
there. So I'll introduce you to our students and to our community here. Aishwarya has passed out this year from IIM Lucknow Sustainability Management course. Uh, 2 years he spent there, went through a journey. His journey has been fascinating, so we'll share that. What happened at IIM Lucknow? What did he learn? Before that, Aishwarya worked for 5 years at HCL, and it was a long duration. So he's one of those people who's actually had a very long work experience. So all of you who have been working for a long time and are thinking about an MBA, I think that is where we should start today. That Aishwarya working for 5 years in HCL, I will really cut the long story short. You were a good performer at HCL. In short, 5 years,
Yes.
you performed outstandingly well at the organization, and the organization did recognize your work. You were awarded
Yes.
multiple times, and you as well contributed to the organization. Hence the reward. It goes both ways, right? You work well, you get rewarded for it. So after 5 years at HCL, how did you gather the motivation to leave that environment and then head over to a B school? Why? How did you motivate yourself? And what were the challenges you faced? Because 5 years of work ex is something which is looked down upon by our B schools. They are
Yes.
not
A
that
lot.
welcoming of students with such work experience.
Yeah. So, first of all, thanks for the great introduction. Now, if you talk about my previous experience, so while working at SEAL also, only I came across many instances wherein I decided I need to move ahead of this. Okay,
Hmm.
ahead as in ahead of this particular hierarchy.
Hmm.
Okay, wherein someone was giving us instruction and we are following the instruction because I was hardcore in development.
Hmm.
So uh, after that, I started researching about it. I had close to, I think, 4 years of work ex altogether. When
Hmm.
I started researching what could be the bailout from with 4 years of work ex,
Hmm.
so I had two bailouts majorly. First was executive MBA, 5 years of work ex, and you are eligible for that.
Hmm.
But in that, there was just one scenario wherein you could do what you were doing previously.
Hmm.
Okay, you cannot change your profile a lot
Hmm.
because
Lateral
executive
placement.
MBA is, yeah.
Lateral placement is essentially lateral placement.
Yeah. Now, second thing is, if you want to explore further, there's one thing, I explore everything and I come back to that profile. That is a very different scenario. I have tasted all the available variants.
Hmm.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I start exploring about the courses. There were a couple of courses that were different. Like we have IRMA, so it's rural management. Then we have PGPSM, that is sustainable management of IIM Lucknow.
Hmm.
Okay. I wrote CAT. At the very first, I was very clear. Since I am not the one who will be the first pick for any B school,
Hmm.
having 5 years of work, so I decided I'll convert the colleges at first,
Hmm.
and then I'll decide. Okay,
Hmm.
so I filled in all the available forms,
Which is a
and
rational way of doing it.
yeah, I cleared decent number of colleges. And all IIMs. I did not went for non-IIMs except for IRMA.
Hmm.
Okay. So, this PGPSM was something which I had a clue of because of sudden what do you call it, noise around global warming. Okay, so government in 2015 had started this SDG, uh,
Okay.
so Sustainable Development Goals. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
so government was focusing towards it. So they had their own guidelines, and to meet it, IIM Lucknow had launched this course in 2015.
Hmm.
I joined it in 2021, so the course was pretty new. I was the seventh batch,
Hmm.
and we had not a lot, but a bit of connection with those who had already done this course.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
via LinkedIn. So I got to know one thing, that people are doing fine. If not very well, they are
Hmm.
doing it fine.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, one more thing. This course requires minimum of 2 years of work ex.
Okay. Okay.
So where I was going in with the in other courses, where I was going in with those who might have zero work ex, so there would be a work ex
There would
difference
be
of
a lot of
five
variation.
years. Yeah.
Exactly.
In my batch, I did not had the highest work ex. The thing is that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So that means in a way that you were with a cohort of people who had effectively, averagely speaking, similar backgrounds, right?
Yes.
Or you had
Ev-
sufficient experience, 2 to 3 years of experience, similar age.
48 was
age.
our 47 month was our batch average.
Okay.
47 months.
Okay.
Okay.
So you were there at right at the, you almost reached the correct stage, correct entry part.
Yes. Huh. Had it been any other PGP that I had joined, I would literally be looked down, because they have a bracket from 24 years to 24 months to 36 months.
Hmm,
So for
absolutely.
most of the company, I would have been ineligible.
Hmm,
But here in this particular course, the best thing was those with higher work ex
hmm,
usually get paid higher because
hmm.
they have payment slabs.
Okay.
Okay, I cannot disclose the salaries of offer package, but yes,
Hmm,
if you have a higher package, higher work ex, usually you will end up at a higher position.
okay.
Plus, my previous work ex, though irrelevant to sustainable management, I was really able to relate things
Okay.
that were being taught.
Okay.
Because talking about sustainable management, it was close to 20% of our 20-25% of our curriculum. Okay,
Okay.
rest was general management.
Hmm,
So there in that general management part, it was what I had done earlier and what I am supposed to do
hmm,
down the line.
hmm.
Okay, now that's one thing. uh if we talk about my experience at IIM Lucknow, so at HCL, being awarded so many times, I had very high reputation of myself. Okay,
Hmm.
so in the first 6 months, that was something which was badly crushed.
I think
Okay.
in a way, this is each one of us who's tasted some sort of success, right? At any
Yeah.
given point of time, we are given, or I think it is a part of it is a shared human experience where
Yeah.
we give into vanity. You are like, you start to believe that I am so good, right? So it's important at times to come back to the planet Earth and
Yeah.
start again, right? So I think
When
the
it
first
comes
six
to
months were
I am
eye
very
opening
good.
for you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
am very good. What happens now is you stop developing yourself.
exactly, exactly.
You stop looking at the perfection. You are like, no, no, it's whatever I have, it is good. People
Hmm.
are appreciating it. I don't need anything else. So in
Hmm.
the first 6 months, I got that impression crushed really badly. I was so bad. I was like, nah, this is something which is not for me.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Then I was like, no, this is a place where I need to rebuild myself.
Hmm.
And then I started rebuilding myself, both professionally, mentally. So it was something which was really, you can say, tormenting at first,
Hmm.
but then I realized what is the value. So there's a saying: it is easy to get into cat into an IIM
Hmm.
than getting through an IIM.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, ये तो बस लोग ऐसे ही बोल देते हैं. It's
Hmm.
like बस बोल दिया just to make student feel कि नहीं नहीं नहीं, cat is easy.
हाँ, मैं बोल दिया पर्पस, ठीक है, वो लोग वहां पहुंचाने के लिए बोल दिया, फिर बाद में
Yes,
तो देखेंगे.
but it's true.
Okay.
Those 2 years, you will come out totally different.
हाँ,
At your personal level, at professional level, you have a really different mindset.
हाँ.
You look at problem very differently. You are
Okay.
not the same person at all.
Okay.
And being frank, after 2 years, if you are the same person, you are at the wrong place.
And then you've not really grown. The process is, I think it is a furnace, it is a melting pot, right? It
Yes,
is meant to
exactly.
change your identity and your perspective. So uh, I think we can summarize this in a way that there is no rocket science being taught. This is not a hard science, right? There is no physics, chemistry, mathematics. There is no hardcore scientific concept that you are learning. It is all abstract in nature, right?
Yes,
But as a person, it transforms you. I think
a
the
lot.
transforms the way you work. your ability to handle stress, your ability to handle tough situations, complicated problems, that changes. I think that is the biggest change. Rather, the theory of management is you can buy a book and read.
Yes.
That isn't really going to change anything. That is all theory. So the practical aspect of it is what is the key thing.
No, it's easy. This is one thing. It's easy to prioritize out of 10 things.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
But out of the 3 priority, which one are you going to take first?
Hmm. Hmm.
That is something you get very used to,
Hmm.
because anything related to curriculum, it is important.
Hmm.
Anything related to your professional development, it is important.
Hmm.
And anything related to your jobs or internship, it is important. You have
Hmm.
to do it.
Hmm.
Okay. So everything is important. Still, you have to prioritize now. You have to pick one thing at a time,
Hmm.
yet you have to multitask.
Hmm.
So how you divide 24 hours of yours, that it is very crucial. Now if I talk about the course, this is where exposure is very important, and which is which is brought upon by this course PGPSM.
Hmm.
It is what, so in the first year we obviously get opportunities of live projects. That is
Hmm.
very normal in all the MBAs.
Hmm.
We get internship, which is both general management and hardcore sustainability related. Okay, which is very good. But in the second year, we have 6 to 9 months of corporate engagement in terms of integrated project,
Okay.
and which is really, really great. Means before getting into corporate, even if you have X amount of work X,
Hmm.
you really are able to use what is being taught.
Okay.
9 months is a huge time, especially in your
Hmm.
second year.
Hmm.
Now, that apart from along with your final placement preparation, it's something which really changes you.
Hmm.
One of my senior kind of mentor, he had mentored me since the first year only.
Hmm.
So in IIM Lucknow, there's a program wherein you get a mentor before your interviews.
Okay.
It's there in most of the IIMs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah. So he started mentoring me before I sat for the interviews,
Hmm.
and it is continuing till now. Okay.
Okay. So that's the
Yeah.
kind of relationship bond you established.
Yes. It's a similar bond that we have actually. You
Exactly.
still mentor me the same way.
That is it. You may form a connection. I think the what we learn from this is there are qualities in you. You are the person who sticks to other people. Then it's not the other way around.
Kind of, yes. I am the
He wants
clingy
to
one.
maintain
I am
that
the clingy
relationship.
one.
So that is also important. That's a part of life. Yeah? Everyone, it's not a skill people have to be able to connect to people in the way that you do, and being having that sustained relationship. That also important. That's also important.
Yes. So he told me one thing, Ashwarya, by the end of 1.5 year, if means for when we sit for our final placements,
Hmm.
if your CV is not changed by 90%,
Hmm.
you have failed yourself.
Okay.
Okay. And that was something which was in my mind since the very beginning. Okay.
Hmm.
I started doing live projects. I started doing internship. I started doing IPs. Okay, so
Hmm.
I did 3 IPs in
Okay.
parallel
Hmm.
with this mindset that I have to change my CV by 90%.
Hmm.
And by the end of 1.5 year, I was at a position where most of my CV was out. I did not had a lot about. I did not wrote a lot about HCL.
Okay.
Why? Because I found it irrelevant
Now,
with what
which
what
is
I
in
was doing.
itself a big thing because you spent 5 years at the company
Yes,
and you did a lot of work there. So it wasn't that
yes,
it's an irrelevant part of your life. It is, but to have that kind of transformation where it just becomes a footnote in your life, where it is a part of your life, but not the most defining feature.
yes.
That is pretty important, significant.
Those 5 years were overtaken by 1.5 years that I spent at IIM Lucknow. So this is the kind of exposures we get in IIMs.
Hmm,
So
hmm,
if anyone says that IIM में क्या होता है वहां पे जाके पढ़ाते, no, it's not just that.
okay.
Padhai is something which you can do on yourself. Okay,
Hmm.
that this what do you call peer-to-peer learning is something which is really great at IIMs.
The thing is, the fact of the matter is when people prepare for interviews, right? And I also work with students all through the year. We prepare
Hmm.
for interviews, we discuss. A lot of them before actually joining the course, right? When they prepare for interviews, it's in everyone's answer. Why are you? So why I am Lucknow? if you have to write down the answer, there's a peer-to-peer learning, right? Now, if a person has not experienced this, the thing is, in our graduation, we've actually not experienced this. Peer-to-peer learning does not exist in most graduation colleges in India, right? And then when you write it down and then you ask the student that why have you written this, there is no definite answer. Because he also does not know. He knows that I have read this somewhere, or I have heard this, that somebody said it is peer-to-peer learning.
Yes.
So I think for most people, what is peer-to-peer learning? They actually, when they enter, they realize this is what peer-to-peer learning is.
Yes.
What I had in mind was a textbook definition of the term.
Yeah. So, one thing that which is very great is you create a circle of your own in the college. When you are sitting for the interviews, they are up against you. Still, you guys are coordinating. Why? Because you know that is the only way out. That is the only way out. You cannot compete against each other. Because if there is a negative competition, all are going to lose. All are going to lose.
Exactly.
That understanding that I have to build myself, I had to build my colleague, even though he is going to be my opponent in the interview. Why it has to be done? This is the greatest understanding. And this is what brings in team working out or a team work or team spirit, because in your corporate world also, your colleague is up against you in your appraisals. So why you should help him out? Why not to just raise your hand and say, I can do it, I can do it. This is where everything changes.
I think it kind of teaches you the true ethos of what teamwork is, what it should be and what it should be. That even if you are competing, the end goal is the organization's benefit, right? Yes. You have to reach there. You might be competing with each other. Self-interest is what drives all human beings. So there is no denying the fact that each one of us has his or her own self-interest. So, but to harness that and to reach a stage where you are able to see how does a team function and how does a team grow, right? That is also pretty important. And that's something that I think in a way kind of makes this experiential learning rather than textbook learning. So these are all, I think these are all concepts that we've heard, things that we've read in blogs, in articles, in books, where people have talked about these things. But the actual meaning or realization, in fact, let's be honest, people who are listening to this, for them, these are also terms.
Yeah.
Because you've not experienced these. So it's only when one experience, then you realize that this is what it means. So you have to be there. So that's that for all our viewers, that is a motivation. In order to understand these terms truly, this is one more reason for landing up at an IIM.
Yes. There's a saying like, for teamwork, it's like what you bring to the table matters the most. This is, you understand when you sit there with your group, that what you're bringing to the table brings value to you. You might be good at something. How can you make that useful for others? Okay. So they get impressed and they start helping you out. So it's more about giving others in order to get something back, and not thinking about what I can get back at the very first. Okay. But again, these are just words and terminologies. They won't affect someone until they have experienced it.
Exactly. So bottom line is, you have to, for everyone watching this interview who's preparing for CAT, right? This should be your motivation for reaching there, right? One of the reasons, in fact, you'll be actually, if someone is rational enough while watching this interview, you can actually figure out your answer for why MBA from this interview, right? If you listen closely and this discussion, you've got to analyze it and then take out what fits your profile, right? You can actually answer the question why MBA using this interview. You can do that. So that's the benefit that people can derive out of it.
Yes.
Great, Aishwarya. So these are all, this is a terrific discussion, right? Coming to your being part of Word Pandit, we'll just spend a minute on it to wrap it up, right? How was your experience with Word Pandit? What did you learn? We'll keep it as short as possible, because this whole conversation I wanted to be about IIM Lucknow and sustainability management, and how it's a great career choice for people with, and you've already spoken, people average work experience is 47 months. So that demographic can look at this course very, very seriously. Great placement
Yeah.
opportunities. So it's a good course to join, right? So coming to the Word Pandit course, how was your experience? What did you learn? As briefly as possible.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks to you that you have delivered such a great content to us that we were able to get into the place we are in right now. Okay. So that said, now I'll distribute this course in four major part. One is the online classes.
Hmm.
Second is that reading content that was being provided. Third is the practice that tests that were being given, and the fourth one is the counseling and the practice of interviews, mocks.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Online classes, they are highly interactive.
Hmm.
One thing I liked about is, even if there are hundreds of comments, they will be read and they will be responded.
Hmm.
If I have a doubt and you cannot answer it on the go, you will ask us to connect with you later. So
Hmm.
that is something which really gives a student an impression that yes, they are being heard
Hmm.
and they are being answered.
Hmm.
So it gives it's not just like another online classes wherein I join the class and I just let it go. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
I know if I ask something, either I'll get the answer then and there or afterwards.
Hmm.
Your delivery is excellent. You keep the classes very light.
Hmm.
Okay. You keep that mahal very light. It's
Hmm.
not like very heavy on us.
Hmm.
Okay. And when you realize that अच्छा कंटेंट बहुत ज्यादा हो गया, you yourself saying नहीं चलो अब next class में cover करेंगे, because obviously there is a blockage afterwards. Okay.
VRC में तो है. You can't go on for a very long period of time.
Yes.
Lost हो जाता है brain.
Yeah. So even your workshops were not that heavy.
Hmm.
Now I did it with my job.
Hmm.
Okay. So with that mindset that I have some sort of what do you call commitment to my job, still I was able to do it. It's all because of you, because
Hmm.
LRDI and quant was not a problem for me.
Hmm.
Being from BTech background, RC was the biggest problem that I had. And you literally helped me out greatly in that. Okay. Now the reading content. So one thing I would like to make very clear for the viewers: reading content is something which you can get plenty of it. You have appetite, you can get way
Hmm.
ahead of your appetite.
Hmm.
Okay. Now how it is being served to you, that is very important.
Hmm.
Now this is where you really rock.
Hmm.
Daily reads, RCs, so every possible cuisine
Hmm.
was in our appetite, right?
Hmm.
That was the best thing.
Hmm.
Means there was nothing like अच्छा मैं philosophy नहीं करता हूँ. Okay, it's all right, you will give content related to philosophy which is easy for me to read.
Hmm. Hmm.
Eventually it will get
Hmm.
high on its
Hmm.
content. It will get tougher in it overall sense. RCs that were given again बहुत ही level wise थे, so because of which it was very easy for me to understand. At the very first, if I start working with a very big with a very heavy RC, I would give up, because obviously I am not able to crack one section altogether. There is no chance I can get into any IIMs.
Hmm. So it's
That was
you
really
got to go
well
level 5.
curated.
Hmm.
Yeah. Plus, if I have a problem there, you will assist me.
Hmm.
So that is the greatest thing. The overall your mentoring part is really great, which helped me a lot.
Hmm.
Okay. Then we have practice tests.
Hmm.
Again, it is very level wise, so I can practice on the go. Then I have a dashboard wherein I can see that
Hmm.
how others are performing.
Hmm.
I can track my performance. I
Hmm.
can see where I have started performing better, where I am going down. And
Hmm.
again, I can get in touch with you.
Hmm.
Whatever problem it is, you
Hmm.
will help me out. And then the fourth part was the mocks.
Hmm.
Now, I still remember my first mock with Ruchika ma'am. So it was like she was like, just go, let it go.
Hmm.
Whatever comes to your mind, just let it come out.
Hmm.
Then I'll tell you what is the problem.
Hmm.
She said two things. You are very serious in your interview. That
Hmm.
is not right.
Hmm.
Second, you do not put words to your thoughts,
Hmm.
because of which they are not very clear.
Hmm.
I somehow managed it in that interview of IIM Lucknow, but these were the exact words. I heard from my seniors when I gave the mark. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Milky," it's like 7 months later. I
Mm-hmm.
was standing right at the same place where Richika ma'am said that this is where you are doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And until and unless I worked it out, I failed miserably.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is the level of guidance I am getting. In the very first, that was my first interaction with Ruchika ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
And she gave such a great insight, which I failed to harness. I realized it 7 years later, and this is something where I really need to work upon.
Mm-hmm. There
So,
are things I think as a learner as well, at times you have to be ready to receive. You have to be in that mental framework where you are ready to receive, right?
yes.
It's not that you're doing it consciously. It's just that
Hmm.
it has not struck a chord with you and it is not registered on you, right?
Yeah.
The intent of everyone involved is clear, right? We want your best, you want to do well, but at times it does not register. It takes
Yeah.
time. And it is our own learning journey. So the fact that you reached there and you recollected, that in itself is a big thing. That this is something that is of value to you, right?
Yeah.
So great. So these are all things that you experienced with us, Aishwarya,
Yeah.
and small little things that we did. It's been a very, very healthy discussion and
Yeah. One more thing I would like to add for the
so,
viewers. Uh, Never go for the what do you call quantity of content,
hmm,
because you cannot consume everything that is being
hmm,
processed in front of you.
hmm,
Okay,
hmm,
go for the quality of content that can be processed. I can have GBs of PDF to read, but I cannot read it in a year.
hmm,
So better read something which is really adding value to it. And
hmm,
this is where you guys literally rock.
hmm,
Your content is so great.
hmm.
Means there's some content, I don't know what is the status now, but there was some content available on the website also, which
Yeah,
which
yeah.
which
The
I
daily
first
read.
read and came to you.
Yeah, yeah,
So that content, just look at that content, you will find the quality in it.
yeah. Hmm,
It is really great.
hmm.
Yeah,
So
so that's all from
that,
my side.
yeah, these are all things, small little things, right? The intent is, uh, the bottom line is uh, there are lots of coaching institutes. There's a lot of material. There are people who are making very good tests. There are some institutes with very big teams where we don't have such a big team. They're making
Hmm.
great material. So there is absolutely no sense of competition here, right? But we are taking you through an experience wherein we are focusing on concepts, we're taking focusing on learning where you can use skills and learn over a period of time. Right? It is a process. VRC is a process. You keep doing it again and again and again, and you'll perfect it over a period of time. The curation bit helps because it means you don't have to spend time doing it. Content is available. There is no shortage of content in the world. You
Yes.
should never buy any online course for content alone, right?
Yes.
Unless and until you have been told how to use it and harness it,
Hmm.
it's just a piece of content. It's what you said. Like you can have GBs of content, you can have PDFs, unlimited PDFs, right?
Hmm.
Unless and until you know how to use them, what is the point of having them?
Yes.
That is where I think training comes into the picture. Uh, Great, Aishwarya. This has been a great interaction. I hope people will find answers to their questions. They will get clarity. People who have comments, please leave those comments for us. We'll most definitely reply to your comments and we'll try to guide you further as well. Terrific having you here. Hope for more such interactions in the future as well,
Sure.
where we
Sure.
can talk about careers, where we can talk about your journey in IIM in a little more detail, things that we can share with our audiences, which would be useful and helpful for them, which would help
Yeah,
them develop their careers.
definitely.
So that's something that we'll do in the future as well. Thank you very much, Aishwarya, for joining me today. Great having you here. Look forward to catching up with you very, very soon again.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you for hosting me. Thank you.